Hey, friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are watching this video from, welcome to Dr. Ajay Vibes. Another homeopathic episode today, this Friday, right? We do these on Fridays nowadays. So today we are looking at another homeopathic drug picture of a medicine called Bryonia alba, which is very common medicine, almost used on a daily basis, right? It's so common. It's one of the most common medicines in homeopathy. But as the disclaimer goes, my friend, this information is only for awareness purposes, educational purposes. If you have any issues, please do consult your local homeopath, a physician. Okay, my friends, so this is educational purposes, so that my friends community here, my extended family on YouTube gets to know the scope of homeopathy, what is possible with wonderful homeopathic system of medicine. So let's take a look at how Bryonia helps children, young people, adults, old people. It covers so many very vital, important everyday ailments like pains and respiratory cough and that sort of stuff, joint pains and abdominal upset. It could be liver pain or something like that. So all over the medicine you will see the pains increase from motion. I mean, really little motion. Even if you move head, even your eyes, if you are moving eyes little bit up and down, it increases your headache, right? Little bit of motion in your chest or head and neck, if you have pains in those regions, they increase. That is the most prominent characteristic. I have seen so many cases in my clinical practice. The results are fabulous when Bryonia is indicated. So let's take a quicker and closer look at Bryonia. Bryonia alba, it comes from a plant. Bryonia is prepared. Gouty and rheumatic pains, as I just mentioned, it's for pains and pains and pains. Lots of pains it covers, right? Gouty pains, you know the gouty pains, right? Rheumatic pains, any joint, any sort of rheumatic pains, right? Now the characteristic with these pains, not only they increase by little motion, movement, the person is highly irritable, temperament, the mind. Remember in homeopathy, mind picture your emotions, the general characteristics that apply to whole body. These are very important things. If you haven't watched my intro videos, I have done maybe over 2 months time, last over 2 months, right? Please do watch. They give very good introduction to homeopathy and types of symptomatology, how we look at the totality of signs and symptoms and characteristics. It gives a very good introduction, right? So gouty and rheumatic pains with irritable nature in the mind and in emotions, right? Angry personality, that is Bryonia, right? Now when you look at pains, they are like stitching pains. Stitching, stitching pains, right? Like with a needle you are stitching pains in your chest or in your head or in your throat or in your joints, wherever pains. Stitching pains or tearing down. You're tearing down, right? Now this some of the terminology I do need to apologize, because I have to use the local like a common everyday terminology. These videos are for everyday our friends, not for health professionals, although it helps anyone watching this. But my intention is this for our friends and family, extended family on YouTube channel, so that they develop some awareness, understanding, and they will learn what is a beautiful scope of homeopathy. What sort of scope is available with homeopathic system of medicine, right? So let's get going, right? So these are stitching and tearing pains. They increase in the night time. But as I said earlier, very characteristic feature, even a slight motion, movement, right? Movement in anywhere, including your thoughts, mind, you have to stop thinking literally, right? Little motion, it increases. Or inspiration, you are taking breath, then what happens? Because you are taking breath, you are moving your chest muscles, your throat, your head, you are moving your whole body joints. From inspiration, it is moving, it increases pain. Are you getting the picture of Bryonia? Little bit, some characteristics, how the pains increase. Okay, so and coughing, for example, after inspiration, you are also coughing. When you are coughing, you are moving all the muscles, right? Chest muscles and whole bodily muscles you are moving. Because of motion increases. So you are coughing, it increases. You are inspiring, taking breath, it increases. Now those are the sort of pains you will see in Bryonia when it is indicated. Just 30 or 200, just a dose or a couple of doses. If you are familiar with homeopathic dosage, we will go into that subject as well in the future videos, right? And it gives wonderful result. Again, my friends, this is only for awareness and educational purposes, because medical, it's complex, right? It could involve anything. So you have to consult a local doctor, but you know now the scope of homeopathy, right? You will get to know more about Bryonia. We will go a few more minutes. We will dwell into more characteristics, right? So when the things are increasing from motion, if you give absolute rest, like stand still, you are not moving anything, not even eyeballs, or lying on painful side, for example, you got chest pain, liver pain, joint pain, you lie down, wherever is the pain, you lie down on that part, it decreases. The pain decreases, right? So if you see these beautiful characteristics, I have to tell you, I have seen so many cases over my 35-40 years of clinical experience. Bryonia never fails, never, as long as it's indicated. Again, homeopathy is based on what? Totality of signs and symptoms, but it looks at whole body, not just chest pain or headache or whole body. So basically, the person as a person, everything what's happening in that person has to match with the whole picture of Bryonia. That's what totality of signs and symptoms means. We discussed that in previous videos, right? So totality, it has to match the totality. The whole picture of the person is matching with the whole picture of the medicine. It works like magic. Okay. So let's keep going. I see it's already 8 minutes. Dryness of mucous membranes. This Medica, this drug pictures is so interesting subject for me, and with all the experience and the kind of help it renders for people, it's not easy to do a short, quick videos. We do have to spend just a little bit of time. Okay, my friends? Dryness of mucous membranes. So all the mucous membranes, nose, throat, and mouth, and intestines, and everywhere mucous membranes, right? So all these membranes are so dry in Bryonia, right? Entire body. For example, tongue, you see tongue, dry, parched, means it's cracked, very dry and cracked and discolored, sort of. It's very dry, basically. It shows there is no water in the system, body system, right? The person gets excessive thirst. We will get to that point in a minute, right? Stools, for example, dry, as if burnt. Number 2, very dry stool because there is no water in the system, as if it is burnt, right? Cough, again cough, dry, hard, scanty expectoration. Expectoration means the phlegm coming up is very scanty, because what? Again, it's very dry, there is no water in the system. Entire Bryonia is like that, right? So urine, for example, dark, scanty, again because there is no water in the body. Can you see the characteristic? This is called general symptom. So the dryness everywhere, whichever system you see, mucous membranes and systems, everywhere you will feel it's dry. It is called physical general in homeopathy. We discussed that in previous intro videos, right? So that's a very important physical general in Bryonia. If that is matching with the person is matching with this Bryonia picture, there you go. But you have to look at whole person, whole case, not just to one little part. Okay, my friends? So, but this is giving some great awareness, understanding about the scope of homeopathy and as well how homeopathy works. So obviously, because of all this dryness, what does the person need? Lots of water. H2O, lots of water. They have to drink lots of large quantities of water at long intervals. They ask for, they take lots of water because of dryness in entire body. So there is great thirsty. It is very high degree. You write that in textbooks in bold letters. Great thirst for Bryonia with all this dryness and everything, right? So vicarious menses. Vicarious menses means menses, female cycles. Means what happens in vicarious, instead of already body is deprived of water, right? So very scanty menses, but the monthly cycles, but instead of cycles, the blood is coming somewhere else, right? Like a nosebleed, blood spitting. You are spitting from cough or whatever. Blood is coming out and nose is bleeding from oral cavity, nasal cavity, various other outlets. The blood is coming instead of monthly cycles. So let's keep going, my friends. Ailments from anger. We said very early on, right? This person is Bryonia person. Let's call it a person, right? We look at person. That's why we call them drug pictures, right? Persons, right? Bryonia person is anger. So ailments caused by anger, because of too much anger, that leads to other problems, such as, for example, person is very angry and suddenly he feels chilliness and feverishness. It's just from anger, right? Now, what a beauty Bryonia will do in that instance, right? Cold. Now, when warm weather sets in after cold days, this is one of the very important characteristics. We have cold winter is turning into warmer days, going into summer on the border, right? From winter to summer, those days, for example, you take cold drink or ice cream. I mean, this works fantastically. I have seen in my clinical practice so many results for this particular characteristic I am explaining right now, right? So person takes, actually that's why general advice, when it is too hot, don't take ice cream. Usually we want ice cream that time, right? But wait until it gets a little cooler in the evening, right? That's the time to take, not when it is too hot. Two temperatures, they don't go together nicely. Too hot and too cold, it creates problems for body, right? So in that instance, Bryonia plays a great role. If something happened on a warm weather day, hot day, you take a cold drink or ice cream in that hot summer day, right? Because your body is overheated, but you are taking icy cold stuff. Now it creates some problem. It can create cough, it can create fever, it can create congestion in the head. It can create suddenly gastric upset. You may have to go for a run for this. After that, all these conditions are covered by Bryonia because of etiology. We call them this one etiology. We discussed that in our early videos. etiology, how important etiology. So this comes under etiology, and that acute condition, it's an acute condition. It will clear away anyway, but a dose of Bryonia helps a lot. So hot summer day, the weather is changing from winter to summer, right? On that particular day, even exposure to a draft or cold wind can create problems, any sort of acute problems. Bryonia comes into help, right? So as we said earlier, aggravation from any motion, any sort of movement, it increases. Aggravation means increases problem. As you listen to watch these talks, you will remember this, some of the terminology. Homeopathy use aggravation, amelioration. Aggravation means increases, amelioration means decreases. You will get to know all this stuff, because that's why these are the homeopathic awareness educational videos. Okay, my friend? So aggravation from any motion, any movement, and absolute rest, either mental or physical, even mental rest, right? Less thoughts is better for Bryonia, right? And physical rest, the person gets relief, right? Now, let's look at children. What sort of children Bryonia covers? Like children, they dislike to be carried. You would like to carry your grandchild or someone. I am going to spend some time with our granddaughter soon, right? But, she loves to be carried. But, right, sometimes if children are upset, they have some little issue or something, some problem, they may not like to be carried or raised, right? Lift them up. Now that is the time Bryonia really helps. But again, my friends, we need deeper understanding. That's why this is not for self-diagnosis or treatment, but only for awareness, because you have to consider many, many things, right? When it comes to medical, right? But this gives a good idea, understanding how homeopathy, how Bryonia in specific, in this particular talk today, we will talk about Bryonia again and again, because this is such a big and most useful medicine. We can't probably cover everything in this short talk. Already it is 17 minutes, I see. So let's keep going, my friends, right? Children desires things which they just refused. You give to children, hey, play with this or whatever, you draw your thing, sketch. They refuse. They don't want it, but immediately they want it. This is very peculiar characteristic, because it says emotional state of mind, children or anyone, right? But because homeopathy looks at mind picture, emotions, highest importance, highest. If they match with homeopathic medicines, it doesn't matter what physical problem you have. The results are fantastic in my experience, 35-40 years now, right? Delirium. Now look at it. These little adults, they have delirium. They talks about business, wants to get out of bed and go home, right? They are just having delirium in the sleep. They are in the home already, right? But they think they are in the office because they're thinking constantly work, right? Business, whatever it is, because they are thinking. So now they have delirium in the sleep. They want to get out of bed and go home. Where are they? They are at home already. This is such a fantastic characteristic covered by Bryonia. But again, my friends, this is only for awareness, right? It could be anything. So it's better to be evaluated by a proper person, a physician, a homeopath, maybe a psychologist. It depends on case, right? So that's what it is. Great thirst for large quantities at long intervals is a fantastic physical general. We call them physical general. It, no matter what is the problem, there, whatever problem, respiratory problems, chest problems, headaches, head problems, right, gastric problems or joint pains, whatever in the whole body, they have such a dryness, entire body. They just want large quantities of water all the time. Remember Bryonia. Okay, my friends? Again, this is only for educational and awareness purposes. So Bryonia needs lots of water, even if it is not a hot summer day, mildly summer, or even could be a winter day. They need lots of water. Bryonia requires lot of water. So constant motion of left arm and leg, left arm, right, and leg, they are all always moving constantly, right? It could be due to any number of things, but we are only looking at the characteristic symptom here, which is covered by beautifully Bryonia, right? Okay, my friends? And they cannot sit up, get up and sit up in the bed or even in the chair. They can't get up and sit up. In general, all the pains increase from motion, right? But even nausea, so much nausea, feels like vomiting, and faintness, they may suddenly feel fainted by just sitting up, getting up in the bed or in the chair. But it could be many things. You need to be careful, my friend. But this symptom characteristic is covered extremely well by Bryonia. So before we finish, so this is well covered by all kind of pains, right? So if you take a look at headaches, brain would burst through forehead. It just comes out of forehead. You feel like that. So much headache is covered by Bryonia. If we got characteristic symptom, a general symptom like thirst for lots of water and headache, Bryonia, a dose can give lots of relief, and but again, you have to be careful, okay, my friends, okay? So brain would burst through forehead. In the mornings, you are just waking up, you are so dry inside, you feel brain is coming out of your forehead from rising, even from opening your eyes. Okay, now these are the drug pictures, my friend. Drug pictures means you are understanding it like a movie, like a picture of whole drug, or otherwise known as medicine, homeopathic medicine. They are also called remedies. They are also called homeopathic drugs, right? Different people call different nations. They are called different ways sometimes. Okay, so these are the drug pictures. Okay, I am trying to innovate ways to present these drug pictures in more interesting way, maybe some PowerPoints. Let's see, I'm just working. I'm in the early stages of doing these videos. You can help me out if you have some expertise or ideas. Please put them in the comment. What are the ways, things I can incorporate into these presentations to do these drug pictures or any other videos. If you have any right suggestions, please say that in the comment. Let's be interactive, my friends. Okay, so pressure in the stomach as from a stone at pit of stomach. You know the pit of stomach here, you feel as if there is a big stone. There is no stone. You feel like that because of various gastric reflexes, gastric conditions, right? It could be anything. And erectation, erections, the gas wind coming up, that relieves, right? Now this is one of the it's sometimes, many times it is a common symptom, but it is very characteristic for Bryonia. So Bryonia covers that sort of digestive disturbances. It could be liver problem, it could be just acidity problem, it could be, right, anything in the GIT system. And if it has these characteristics, number one is thirst, too much you need to drink water. These erectations reliefs, you feel that in the pit of stomach, like a heavy stone. Now these characteristics are covered by Bryonia drug picture. Okay, my friends, I'm trying to finish this as soon as possible because this is such a big drug, and we will go into these again and again. We will present in a better way in the future, maybe and I am just getting used to these presentations, my friend. Constipation, you remember, it's all dryness, right? Everywhere dryness. So number 2 is extremely dry, constipated, right? No inclination whatsoever, dry as if burnt. We mentioned already this, right? As if burnt, very dry. Number 2, no inclination, you don't even feel like going. You better drink lots of water and take fiber. We all know that, right? We need fiber to clear our digestive tract. Okay, in female, mame, right, the breast area, very heavy, stony hard, must support. You need support, ladies need support, right? And pleuritic, rheumatic chest pains, it covers all kind of pains, right? So pleuritic means pleura. You can look up on Google. Pleura is the layers around your lungs. So because those there is usually a pleural liquid in between those layers, right? Because of this dryness everywhere, right? Even the pleural liquid is scanty and dry. It can create pleuritic pains, right? So you feel all kind of chest pains here and they are all over scattered. And you move little bit, it increases. You press, right? Characteristic pressure, it decreases. And you have excessive thirst. You are number 2 is constipated. So see, homeopathy looks at whole person, everything, right? So this whole picture is matched by Bryonia. There you go. It helps a lot again, but you need to consult your doctor, my friend. Okay. So in general, let's finish this. It's already almost getting to half an hour. Let's finish it. And so in general, we already covered this, but so these are the things, if you remember, and you will know the scope of homeopathy, scope of Bryonia, how it helps. In Bryonia, motion increases. Anything you are moving around, motion increases, exertion increases. We are putting little physical exertion, touch, cannot sit up. Remember, you can't even sit up. You may feel nausea and faintness, or even could be chest pains, or even your headache, right? Very severe headache we mentioned, right? That can increase just by sitting up, right? And amelioration means decrease, right? What decreases? Lying down on painful side. Remember, we already covered. If wherever is the pain, you lie down on the side. Headache, lie down on that side. Chest pain, lie down on that side. Liver pain, lie down on that side. On the liver area, you get relief, right? That is the characteristic of Bryonia. Okay, my friends. Okay, I don't want to go too long. I already went little overboard, my friends. Please, if you haven't subscribed already, you know what to do, right? Please subscribe to Dr. J Vibes channel and support me by liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Share with a few friends. If you think they will benefit, develop some homeopathic awareness, some understanding, right? Coming from a physician, a trained doctor in homeopathic system of medicine with 35 years, 40 years experience, clinical experience. I'm a second generation homeopath. My dad used to do this as well. Even though he was a school teacher, but he learned homeopathy and he had a very good private practice. He had certification to practice as a registered medical practitioner in India. So I basically grew up with all this stuff. I used to assist him when I remember, could be like 6th class maybe or 5th class. I used to help him dispense medicines and that kind of stuff. So this Bryonia, I have seen it for more than 50 years, most of my life, usage of this. So I can go into so many examples, so much stuff, but we need to keep these as short as possible. Please kindly subscribe to this channel and support me by liking, sharing, commenting on these videos. Have a beautiful weekend. It's coming up. Homeopathic video means it's Friday. So next weekend here, Saturday, Sunday. Over in Bharat as well for central government many universities maybe Saturday, Sunday holiday, or Sunday is holiday anyway. Have a beautiful day and beautiful weekend ahead, my friends. I hope this helped Bryonia drug picture, little bit some awareness of Bryonia and homeopathy, how it helps. I went all over, I know. And we will do this again and again. And have a beautiful day, my friends. See you again soon. Bye for now.